DK's game really difficult. I feel like DK being punished at every single turn of this match. I think that if we want to count on who's been eliminated the most, it would be fairly populated by DK players in this game. They've come back time and time again. Pretty sturdy stuff. The Wolves will try to go on the northern flank. DK, you're there in the game. Now looking to slowly march, shamble towards the centre. Kick into it, still get done here with the Wolves position. Options considered, obviously Wolves wanting to beat again. The 8 isn't so far, that's how quickly they go out. In the future though, it's in a little bit further towards the left side, we try and isolate the western part of the circle, but adolescent off the back to the small. Well, teams are happy though, teams are very happy in fact, so we are heading back down towards that ship. Goodness me, all that work to try and find a position there, for it to only go north. You would be very upset. He goes up or crashes towards the building. Not a terrible work he's being polite with. Just wants to get inside, get a position to play. And work on the back of this. They've got AGAL though in this vicinity. Yeah, the inside negotiations and managing are tense. But it's the south side that we want more towards here. We've got a team in our lower that is going to have to move. It's going to have to get that now. All contention there, the brunt of the pressure. Could get third party, the west side as well with Motion and 721 GS. And have to move on in as well. I feel like that may be a little bit easier approach. Meantime, DK continues to tear loose away from themselves. They're falling in towards that chick. And the Rouge Ragnarok, that's the place they pay for every player to still fall on the inside. Using that block, the Chief Yangle, down the air on you there. Looking at that free window there. A little bit obvious. Sanjay, all taking a little bit of punishment on the field team, but there we are, the inside edge.
Quite surprising that Go is taking the fight to them so well. Alula, R3B will find a shot over towards Speaker here. Dopeness was here very early, but I feel like Dopeness, outside of some of the good games they've had, which have got a little bit lucky at times, they just don't have that firepower. The defensive capabilities, not quite there, can't hold off the onslaught. Alola went for a wild crash, by the way, from the area near Goat Team on the south edge. They just went straight in and they've managed to land on their feet. And Goat Team similarly have pushed it towards Ulf, and it's not going well kind of for either team, but Ulf right now on their last player alive on the fight on the south side, and they are bleeding out. Something awful. Those recall towers are shut down now, Blank, as well, which means that you are not getting players back to their feet if you go down. And with Ulf just on Solus, Goat Team getting those reses on that angle, it looks like they may be able to stay alive as 4 after a crash onto Ulf. For Solus, I just don't see him as the guy anymore to get that 1v. What is it now? Yeah, the Goat Team didn't lose a single player. Very, very interesting stuff. I'd love to see a replay of how all that went down, just because Goat Team versus Ulf, you'd expect that to be a much easier proportion to this game. A lot of it has been on the back foot so far.
Just gets to move on as a fullback. Massive move into there.
Yango Galacticos, RRQ all starting to try to figure out how they can step forwards. 721 GS trying to move around on that north side as well. The Wolves are closer to Danqing than the rest, but no safer. 721 instead decide to crash into the settlement. Rayhan down and will be flushed out, I imagine.
Very quickly.
And they're trying to crash onto the GK position as well as Lufa. It's really weird to me right now. You see RRQ, you see Yangon Galactus, you see Alpha 7, you see Noxian Red Force on this north side where the circle now shifts towards. That becomes a very clean area of the map. There was not a lot going on. I mean, I would understand it when you're about 20 seconds out for the next circle. You don't really want to get into a big engagement just so you can quickly move out. I believe that Alpha 7 was trying to hang on to this location on that northern side, still pressuring out the Noxian Red Force. However, this required a hard shift over towards the north.
I am confused. I sort of want to see a little bit more firepower. You want to start clearing out this northern edge so you can just start peppering the entirety of the team in Danqing if it does move away from it, which right now it absolutely is. There is so little movement happening on this northern side at the moment. No team wants to get involved with one another.
I mean, Alpha 7 and Yangon Galacticos have been here for quite a while, so they're feeling fairly entrenched. This is 7-2-1, who were able
to stop the tide of the game around. They've been very well back so far, and they are looking to bring back some momentum for the rest of the league around the limit.
Knocked, but that looks to put themselves back up. 5 eliminations now for GK. They are holding on to the western point desperately.
Milu finds Alula claws. Alico kind of whiffing one of those nades there. Lula will back off, try to get claws back on his feet, but Samji is fully flushed out in the meantime. Goats are moving in, get a good amount of damage done, but E-Arena's already sent out over towards that northwest. They get into an altercation with E-Arena. Where is the aggression? This is, Go honestly is doing exactly what I want to see. You should hear this engagement over towards the northern side. Would not be surprised if they try and push this one.
Well, that's the arena cleaned up, and now it's just Nongshim who stepped into the firing line of Goats. Alpha 7 looking to flex out as well. Maybe able to find it, some emergency cover dished out by Hyunbin, and Alpha 7
okay
on up to the ridge.
Okay, this is good news. So we have Guizhao. Guizhao leading the charge. It's very confusing for me. But I'm glad he is. He gets something done. The airburst does no damage to him. He's going to try and move the vehicle out just slightly. Goat is another team trying to pincer over towards this one. But they're recalling him. They're pulling him back. Carrillo has managed to get himself knocked over towards that northwest side. They're looking for the save on this one. Quick smoke out the window. Guizhao doing a lot for the team right now.
Yeah, it was RRQ who managed to find a knock over towards Carrillo, and he will need a little bit of a pickup. If they hadn't happened, they could have put more pressure forwards, and I think that might have been the end of Nongshim Red Force. As we hop back in towards Danqing, you've got Alola now at loggerheads with 7-2-1, who were able to crash in successfully. Alola as well, similarly capable of getting in and amongst it. But everybody's holding their corner. Next circle, very likely to push a lot of this one out. And I feel like AGAL may have the better time of it. A nade over the road from R3B is able to connect. And that opens the door for Alola, or at least it gives them time to get the res. Some more damage, and now they have to hold off Fury on an off angle.
Fury going to try and move out here. Next circle comes through. We'll head over towards that eastern side. Yangon Galacticos, defending champions, right in the center of it all. Looking now to begin the tornado. Sweep through all the rest of the teams. R3B does go down for Alula. The 7-2-1 GS try and hold down. It's a good double. Back to back here, very low. Can he make the 1v3 happen here? No. Won't quite get it done. Didn't trust in that last shot, and Quick is quick to finish it. Understands the demon inside that building, and he needs exercising.
Goodness me. There was a moment there, it felt like maybe Malik was going to do something magnificent, but was put down. Alola losing 3 of their players. 11 eliminations with 4 alive. They would have had a great time, but now it's Quick against 3 from Furia. He's already managed to find Igors, and now Ayala and Chief are bearing down upon him. There goes the flush, and he's still got a little bit more to say. The end of the story, not quite yet. Quick dashes out, and the pin pulled on the nade keeps Chief from spraying him down.
Yep, common misconception. Can't get out that window. It is barred off. We'll have to swing around the side here. Furia looking to pinch Quick. Give him the old do-si-do.
He is taking a turn.
Oh my god, he's taking off, dude.
And he's looking for more, layering down the lead, but it's just off target. The strafe brings him further away from it, and Quick goes down. In the meantime, Nongshim Red Force on the western flank go down to Goat. Their dynamism, their attitude in this game is looking nasty.
I mean, Goat is chewing through squads. They are chewing through squads, and this is what you want to see from a team like this. They have so much control. Wolves is down towards their southeast, but it's a team on 3, not likely to get too much more done. Milu is knocked and flushed, leaving only Eagle left alive. to put the claws in over towards Fury. Emergency cover flares, smokes, all been dropped out to try and extend this push, but it's not meant to be. They will go out in 9, so not a single placement point found, but a good amount of elims on the game regardless, so 8 total. Alpha 7 now. Look to try and pinch over towards the southeast side of them. Send some Canberra nades through.
They lost Grisao in the middle of all of that. I feel like at the moment the story of this game is GOAT team going God mode on this western flank, rotating in, crashing into Ulf, disengaging from Danching, taking the initiative to move around that western side. You highlighted it, you said it's what you wanted to see. Eagle wants to see red as he's spraying the shotgun shells up the staircase, but it's not going to work.
AGAL currently still as a 4-man. Said yesterday they were able to get themselves a nice little chicken dinner at the end of the day. We expect so much more from this squad. Coming off their performance throughout the year, PMI was not meant to be though. It's been a bit of a rocky start for them. XZZ now looking to pinpoint those shots, but right out into the open. No smokes available. It is free pickings. They had to go on a 2-2 split here, so at least 2 of them will survive in Liu as well as Flower. Alpha 7 is taking heavy casualties on this northern edge, but it's Yangon Galacticos got themselves in towards these buildings quickly. They were fast on their approach too. It was that early push that really solidified this position. They've been playing a 2-2 for a long, long time. RRQ just hasn't given them much grief whatsoever though. But I would genuinely be happy to see a GOAT win.
On that eastern side, RRQ being a little bit tentative. As you say, not putting too much pressure onto things. Yangon Galacticos with only 3 elims at the moment though, with 6 teams alive. Going down here would just not be a good enough performance for them, frankly, because they do need to jump up towards that 6th place to keep themselves in the running to defend their title here at the PMWC at EWC. And they are 2-2 split right now. GOAT team resetting, lining up their cannons, trying to find a broadside. The question is, where do they go? Or are they going to wait for other teams to move around this one? Try and pick up some of the drags, because they've already done a lot in terms of isolating teams, in terms of moving this circle and being a playmaker within it.
They've pretty much been the sole playmaker, in my opinion, in this match. Like the way these teams are playing right now, it just feels like they're waiting for other teams to struggle against the circle. I mean, for instance, right here, Alpha 7, they have to move. RQ's not done much this game, but they're happy to punish as they have to head over towards the dip. AGAL now punish over towards Wolves, who sat in this location for a long time as well, not really done much off the back of it. They could have easily attempted to get in on the action as GOAT went over towards Nongshim Red Force, but AGAL, some good nades over the top, will take out the remainder of Wolves. It's a weird endgame, John. A very, very weird endgame.
Yeah, so much commitment to the south side of Danching so early on, but they are now looking for it to continue out in the open and knock over towards the Yangon Galacticos position on the south point. This 2-2 split will make it reasonable, but Alpha 7 going to get pushed over the hill, and with an opening, they might be able to find something. RRQ descend from that eastern side and take on AGAL. Head-to-head, 2 versus 4. They like those numbers, and they will be borne out in the result. Lepar goes down, but that's going to be pick-upable.
Maybe.
That's a real word.
Pick-upable, potentially. Down towards that south side. Put him in a vehicle, moving forward. Loot crate in play here, but as I told you before, it's very open. Emergency cover players are almost essential at this point in the game. Alpha 7 has to figure out something and figure it out right now. Yangon Galacticos on this 2-2 split, they should have been able to realize this by now. I don't know if they have any vehicles. They need to smoke train over towards one of these buildings. A 3v2, very doable here, and will close off the sightlines from the rest of the Yangon Galacticos squad.
A nade, a little opening, and Alpha 7 will descend. Maybe even GOAT team could crash on towards it. But they're content for now. As RRQ start to march forward, Alpha 7 with the cover flares, they can get a little bit closer to this now. Black Rebel is spotted though from across the way and will be immediately flushed. So Alpha 7 down to 2 very, very quickly. And how do you make this one work? Shots now being levied over towards GOAT team on the western side. but they can't move. It's a stalemate.
RRQ holding out GOAT team. GOAT team holding out RRQ, you're right. Alpha 7 trying to get some shots over towards Yangon Galacticos, but RRQ just have these broadsides, and not for a single second have they just let Alpha 7 move freely here. It has massively slowed them down. I think they were coming into this endgame with very few smokes available. Zone 9 now just hits, and we will be closing to center. Carrillo, last nade. Has to be a big one, but I think at this point in time, it is the final hurrah from Alpha 7. Yangon Galacticos, though, up to 6 eliminations. How do they want to play this one out? Go team is just looking monstrous this match. They genuinely have looked better than everyone else.
A real wild crash out from RRQ as they try and mount up, get across the open ground and only leave 2 of themselves alive. But in a 2v2 against Yangon Galacticos, it's not all done and dusted. A hop out from Smile. What are you doing, man? Straight into the firing line, and that's the opener that RRQ were looking for. The blue zone pushes them further. They have to get out of the warehouse, but the blue zone's choking them.
Yangon Galacticos starting to have to leave here. Go team will squeeze the pressure on. RRQ moves out, JS9 in play, but it's Go once again. Killer Joe at distance. Yangon Galacticos down to 1 final player. What can Mane do here? 60 bullets in a dream.
A nade over towards Romeo. The blue zone's going to force him over the edge. He drops down, and down he goes. It is GOAT team going God mode.
They have to be happy with that game. I mean, the way that they're screaming the end of it, they deserve this match more than anyone else. There was such slow gameplay from everyone else in the lobby. It felt like GOAT was the only one carving their own legacy into this match. Couldn't ask for anything better. You really couldn't.
They climbed themselves up to the top of that mountain, and it was a tough road for them. Their positioning on the south side, as you were saying, they were the only playmakers in this circle. Their move to Ulf, their decision not to try and just stumble forwards, creep towards Danqing like everybody else. Instead, they stepped back, they looked at the bigger picture, and they took a big chicken dinner.
There was just so much willingness as well to just give Yangon Galacticos those locations. Playing a 2-2 split there, for the amount of time we're in that location, you deserve to be crashed upon on that 2-2 split. Holding those 2 buildings for as long as they did only happens because there is such passive gameplay around them in that location. Everyone is so afraid to get third-partied right now, and again, that's survival stage, John. That's what happens. The pressure is on. GOAT's feeling none of it, apparently.
Well, yeah, they were just unleashed there. They were allowed to graze on any pasture they liked. There was just nothing stopping them. And you're right. I mean, it was particularly RRQ and Alpha 7 on that northeast side around the Yangon Galacticos position that just really didn't push into it, didn't go for those targets until the blue zone forced them to do something that was completely unfavorable to their longer-term point-scoring prospects.
It's very tentative gameplay right now from Alpha 7, and it's almost annoying for me because the beginning of that game, my God.
Oh, yeah.
I saw glimmers of the past. I saw the demon that used to be there before the mask descended. I want more of that. Alpha 7 looked genuinely insane at the start, but let's hear more from Kalaris and what he thinks about Alpha 7.
Thank you very much, boys. Yes, once again here for the 100th time I am with Revo, as always. Let's talk about that game, actually. Of course, Go Team did get the win, but you guys were incredibly resilient in this game. You actually, from the word go, E-Arena hunted down Carrillo and then was able to take him down. Of course, then you were able to save Gizao to be able to get the res off here. But what's going through the team's mind in that point? Because that's a scary prospect when you're in a hot drop in Yulin.
Yeah, I think we know that can happen. Like, it can happen with everyone. So we always have a plan B to do anything when that thing happens. So we was ready to that, and we did a great match.
Yeah, you guys have already told me, you told me especially, that you're really good under pressure, and that kind of really exemplifies it. And speaking of that pressure to continue on in the game, once again in the late game, you guys go down to 1 player and able to get the recovery back up to 3 to continue things on to eventually, I think you had like 9 limbs in this game as a whole or something like that. So when you go down to the 1 again and then are able to recover to the 3, what's going through the team's head in that moment?
I think like that means to be a Brazilian because we never give up. So we was trying to keep everyone alive. Of course, we lost one, but we are trying to stay like safe in that house, and we did it. Like, and in my mind, it was not passing nothing. I was like, it's okay. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it anyway. So yeah, was that.
Feeling good for a top 6 today?
Feeling good. I know God gonna give it us. If you qualify, gonna be by God. So I trust Him, and let's see what's gonna happen.
Message for the fans?
Tamo junto, hein?
That's Revo.
Human body was built to move, not trapped at a desk in one singular posture for 12 hours a day. It's time your chair evolved. This is Secret Lab Titan Evo. Ergonomically engineered for you, gamers, hybrid workers, artists, backing your every move.
Hi, I'm here with Fire H from AGAL from the survival stage. I want to ask them a few questions about the tournament overall and see where they sit so far. So first question is first. You guys were 9 points away from qualifying through into the final. I wanted to ask you guys if there was any adjustments from the group stage that you could have maybe changed looking back at it to maybe just go directly into the final for the top 5.
那我们现在在生存赛当中有 AGL 的 Flowfish 给带来我们这次的采访。然后 Flowfish， 首先你们当时小组赛的时候，其实差9分就能直接晋级到决赛了。现在，如果让你去回想一下的话，当时能做出什么样的调整，或者怎么样的进步来相当于能成功的拿下这9分，并且直接进决赛呢？
其实当时知道差9分，其实挺可惜的吧。然后因为那人的圈运其实也算很好的。 然后当时也是没打好，心里一直在想，如果少犯点失误的话，是不是就直接晋级了？
It was a pretty big disappointment to lose out with just 9 points, and honestly, like the circles were pretty friendly towards us. I think that like luck was on our side, but we just made a couple of mistakes too many. And looking back, you know, if we only just ironed out some of those mistakes, played a little bit better, I think we could have gotten that 9 points and gone straight into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think you're right on that regard. Okay, so let's talk about actually the last game from yesterday on Miramar, and it was kind of like Los Leones finish. Urban endings can be very difficult for a lot of teams to be able to move through, but AGAL performed it masterfully to be able to go from building to building, really get through to the middle, despite having to make a lot of movements. So, were there any big challenges that you felt like there was going to be there when you were making those moves through Los Leones?
那我们先说一下昨天打的最后一张图，因为当时是那个沙漠图，而且那个圈都是在那个城区嘛。然后城区的这种圈通常都是最困难的，因为四面埋伏，就是到处都有危险。但是你们却是非常干净利落的一栋楼一栋楼这样清过去，然后最终成功的直击了。那能不能跟我们说当时那一张图当中哪一些时刻特别的危险，以及你们当时做出了哪一些就是比较亮眼、比较优秀的一些决策呢？
当时的话应该是扎进去的时候风险挺大的吧，然后当时是被两边一直扫，还好没有掉人。然后后面的话就是我们一起抱团吧，然后一步一步清一个边出来，然后慢慢的往前推，往前打。
Well, yeah, when the circle first formed and we saw that it was in Los Leones, it was very dangerous in our initial incursion into the circle because we were getting kind of like flanked by 2 different teams. But we managed to, you know, form as a group. We pushed as a team, and then once we cleared out our own side, our own niche, I think it became a lot easier, and we were just clearing building by building together as one singular unit, and I think that was what clinched us victory.
All right, thank you very much, Far H, for the interview. Thank you for the translations. That's been us here with AGAL.
a day where a lot of teams have absolutely nothing to lose. So how about you start improving on stuff that we've been pointing out here? And that's exactly what GOAT Gaming was able to do in this game, Max.
Ah, the boys, the GOAT team finally showing up. And you know what? It's very interesting because there's no hovercraft on Rondo, and yet they still get themselves a win. Moxie definitely making me proud in that game. But a great merge of aggression in this game from GOAT team and also strong macro rotates that I do have this that I'm going to break down a play a little bit later on. So check that out later in this desk segment. But no, GOAT team generally the first time in this tournament. I have hope that this team can actually maybe make a big jump at the top 6. And just to highlight what you said earlier, Seven, on the pre-show, the point gap is so minimal towards the middle pack teams, which is where GOAT are. This game, I think, puts them up in top 6.
It was 14-point difference between 3rd place all the way down to 15th place now.
Wow, that's fantastic. I mean, it really just goes to show that anybody with one decent game can jump all the way up. We will see that on the overall leaderboards. There we go. But yeah, GOAT team able to just grab this hilltop. I'm so excited that we actually got a zone here because there's some really dynamic terrain to actually work with, and GOAT handled it so beautifully. RRQ as well, you're seeing there with Yangon. I was really happy with Yangon. Yes, it's more of a passive second place. Yes, the zone was given to them a little bit, but they defended pretty well against RRQ, and we could see them take some shots towards other teams in the zone. So actually, I'm very happy with their performance. They were able to get some killer shots, man. There's some awesome shots coming on through there, and yeah, getting the win is finally going over to GOAT. But Yangon, GG.
Yeah, to be fair, it is really hard for Yangon Galacticos, who just had a fight with RRQ, and then you have to instantly finish the fight with RRQ and go for an exit onto GOAT. I understand that getting that win was not possible, but you know what? A strong second place, Yangon. Again, the point gap is so small that could put them really high on those rankings.
It is strong second place. And look at GOAT team, 25 points, RRQ as well. A lot of this squads that actually needed the points. But Lace, I'm looking especially at one squad. And that squad is currently in 4. Damn right. Alpha 7 showing up. And not only that, we got a chance to see Revel showing what we know he's capable of.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was kind of like such a beautiful start for them. They're just dropping slightly northwest of Yulin and not getting into that hot drop scenario. But what actually happened was E-Arena forced them out of their initial drop into the hot drop zone as a duo. But you think that would be the downfall of them? No, Reaver the Beast has been unleashed and has come back to play today. He was able to drop 5 eliminations, holding off so many teams that there's actually, I wish I grabbed the clip for you, scaring away RRQ. I mean, he is pushing so much presence onto this team that their team was able to revive themselves, adapt. They cleared a very clear route for them to be able to sit on that northern side. And although, you know, they ended up as a duo at that final against YG, did you see just how much aggression they were showing even as a duo in between a split hold of YG? Like, this is all we were asking for yesterday, and they've turned up today.
Yeah, throw away that car once again. Just make sure we stop hitting Max, because everybody's been doing it over and over again.
Max, I got you.
But just talking about, exactly. Talking about that gap of points, the GOAT team ends up pushing up all the way up to second place. And this is perfectly, this couldn't be the most perfect example for all the teams that are currently outside of the top 6. If you have a good performance here, you will end up jumping up to that top 6 because of how much everything that Tiamba was able to sponge up yesterday.
It's so true, but this is where we've got to be really careful now, because it all comes down to the next couple of games. Because look at second place, look at 6th, only 10 points difference. Then 7th with GK 46, E-Arena 46, Yangon Galacticos with 44. The list goes on. It's so close. So GOAT may have gotten a big jump into that second place position, but it's not over yet. We still have 5 more matches to actually. It could go either way here. These other teams, they're not going to be happy where they are. The points are so close. It's really anybody's game now.
That leaderboard is going to be shifting, okay? It's going to be shifting not only during the match, after the match, and everything in between. We don't know which top 6 teams are going to be going towards the finals, but I do know that GOAT team has been putting in the word. Maybe they've been listening to us, because I know Killer Joe definitely speaks English, and they've been adjusting those rotations and trying to make sure they stay alive towards the end of the games.
As I said earlier, this is one of the best rotations we've seen so far this tournament from GOAT team, so I'm going to hold you to hold my microphone. I got some analysis to make right now. Look, can you bring it over? Thank you very much. Yeah, I was having a little bit of a bad that time. So I want you to look at these positions in particular. You see Goat Team on the southern side. They've been there for like a decent amount of time here, just chilling on the outskirts. Northern Circle, meaning they have two options. Or they avoid the fight inside the city of Danqing, or they head to the eastern or western side. And there's a great opportunity that happens later on down the line here. As you can see, there's a big skirmish breaking out between Nongshim Red Force and E-Arena. And this is just ringing the bell. This is your opportunity right here, right now, Goat Team, to send it. And the moment they see the fight starting up, they instantly go for this wide western rotation, which not only allows them to clear some teams onto the western side, and they occupy that as their main playing spot for pretty much the rest of the game, but also avoiding all of the skirmish happening in the city itself. It's literally a two birds, one stone kind of situation. And Goat Team, this gives me hope. They can be a strong team in the finals. I just wish they would make it just more consistently, because this was 10 out of 10 stuff.
And that's why Go Team, out of all of us, with the improvement that you've been able to do on that one, you get a chicken for that one. Hopefully you'll be able to keep on getting more, because right now we're going to be heading on to none other than game at number 2, baby.
Oh, absolutely. We're getting ready, and our teams, I feel like they're feeling a bit like that plastic chicken right now, a little bit squeaky, because it is getting a little bit later in the day. With every single match, one opportunity is stricken off your card. Match number 8, we're going back over towards Erangel this time, Blank.
For Goat Team, obviously, it's very easy to put all those points. And Valve 7 on our screen, obviously I've been critical.
Yeah.
But I was, at the start of that last game, I was very pleased with their performance. I really, really was. There's just a tentativeness towards that last 10 minutes or last 5 minutes when they get to those stages of the game, where even then I could see Guiz out, setting himself up for that fight, that engagement versus Goat Team, which might have been the winner. Creo gets picked up on the backside there because it's just not a full cohesive push. It's tough. It is tough. And I understand in the last game there's a lot of moving parts in that game. But they did show, as Kalaris said, a lot of resilience in the early game. And we can't forget that. I think they had a fantastic start. I think they had the best start to that last game than anyone else. And I've said it before, it's very promising right now. So we'll see what more they can get done. The Furia, on the other hand, another team that I did want to talk about. I think they went down fairly early that last match. They got stuck in towards Danqing, tough position to play, slowly bled out players. I have no doubt in my mind, though, the Fury's not going to pop off later today at some point. I think the Furies should be in that top 6. I think they belong in that top 6. From PMMI to now, they are looking for a big win at a major stage in the year. But we're heading into game 2 now with Erangel flying over from the top side of the map down towards Nova Evnoya.
A nice, even playing path here, Blank. Nothing too dramatic. Our circles have been pretty cruel, though. I think it's safe to say we were maybe a little bit of we were given a little bit of rest from it in that last rondo. Not super favorable for the teams on the south, but it felt reasonable. We have had some much worse circles moving forwards. E-Arena out fairly early, near Alpha 7 there. E-Arena employing interesting strategy at the start of that last rondo, right? Really going on the hunt, like targeting those recall towers and finding those solos in a way that I don't think we've seen so much. It's definitely something that teams have thought about doing. It's some things that we have seen happen, but it felt very much like a very specific game plan for E-Arena to be able to go for those hunt downs. And it was, I believe, it was Ulf and Alpha 7 who lost their solos.
It's been happening actually a lot more recently. There's been more and more times where we'll try and catch out 1 or 2 teams who are just carelessly throwing over towards the same spot every single time. That team will just wander in, get themselves free elimination, and practically ruin the hopes of another team, or at least make their rotations out very difficult, like it was for the case on Ulf. So yeah, I do think that that is happening more. It's just the first time we've really seen a team go after multiple squads at the same time. QZZ currently at 4,470 damage done. Milu close behind 3,900, but the drop-off between QZZ and Killer Joe in 3rd place, kind of wild, because 3,500 damage is pretty good, honestly. But QZZ has just been on another world entirely over the course of these 2 days. Circle very kind right now over towards Boatyard Ruins. GK getting a nice start over towards Pachinki. At the moment, Wolves scattered across Gatka Fields. And you could be scattering Jutsu all over the place with the new Naruto skin set, as well as the Ninetales Fury Org. Make sure to draw that in-game, because goodness me, that's a gorgeous skin. One of the best ones, actually, I've seen in quite a while. And you can also have a little tiny Kurama if you wanted, right? You know, you get that Ninetales Fox. He's got loads of emotes. It's fun. It's good stuff.
It is very cute as well. It was one of the things I was very envious of. Have to try and pursue that one. Get your spins in, get on to the game. See if you can pick those up. RRQ on the south side near that quarry area. No early engagements. We're not seeing a hot drop in Pachinki anymore. It's just Gike on the inside there. Now that was settled. That was drawn to a close.
And that's what they're all playing for right there. We just saw on our screens the beautiful trophy here at the PMWC at EWC. Also get a nice little flyby of our wonderful stage. Banked on both sides by fans from around the world, which is great to see, honestly. It's really, really cool to have everyone here supporting the teams. The atmosphere has been fairly electric, and I might add quite loud.
Oh yeah.
But I am happy, you know, there is some rambunctious support for the squads.
Absolutely. The drums of war beating heavy on the ears of our players. Well, hopefully not, actually. They have ear protection on, so they should be fine. And they will show their support efficaciously. Goat team,
okay,
moving over towards what? Yeah, it's true. It's very effective.
Who likes searching the dictionary for that one?
Efficaciously.
Yeah,
it was good. It was good. I think I came up with
saw
the
you
right...
pull out the dictionary and start flicking through there.
Hey, you know, sometimes I just got to riffle through it.
Rifle.
And what I find would be eleemosynary.
Oh, okay, wonderful. No clue what that means.
Neither. I'm pretty sure it means like something.
You've just... All right, fair enough. You skipped a single page and just gone for it.
Just because you read the dictionary doesn't mean you know the definition.
I would hope you did. You're like the picture book of dictionaries. You just look at the words.
Yeah.
I don't want to look at the definitions.
Absolutely, yeah. A is for Alpha 7.
That's true. B is for Brazil.
B is for Brazil. C is for Carrillo. I don't have it. I'm out. I'll tap it out of that one. Furia. Ooh, stop, drop, and roll down the hill. But they do get back to their tyres and will be on the road again to come in from that eastern side. Jumba from the northeast from Yasnaya, making their way into teams looking to leave Pachinki, or well, crowd in around the edges of Pachinki in this spot. But still, far afield from one another. These teams are still a little bit in that looting phase.
Yeah, it's a calm game. It's always weird coming from Rondo because it's from minute one you're bombarded by elimination after elimination. Plenty of ridiculous infighting towards some of these POIs on the map. But for Erangel, this is a pretty reasonable circle. Honestly, I don't think there's nothing too crazy about this whatsoever.
I feel like the first fight that might pop off is actually Alula on their crossing from the north side. Depending on where they go.
Alpha 7's arch nemesis.
Yeah, Alpha 7 are kind of in the way. But Alula could just go further east and try and push in on that side of things. And Alpha 7 are a little bit split right now, so it is kind of dangerous if Alula go for a full crash on towards one of the positions on the north with Obscure, with Revo, both kind of isolated from one another.
Well, for Alpha 7 right now, I can see what they're trying to do, right? You're trying to maintain control of box, also have some control over the compounds that sit underneath Everest, and you're basically guaranteeing as much in towards the next circle as possible. All those locations are good, and there is support that you can make from across the river. And Guizhou went for a slight push-up over towards that north side as soon as Obscure was sending back that information that potentially was a team roaming on the northern edge. But he's going to back down towards the south side of Everest. Everyone's quite well situated though. School currently taken by Tiamba. They shifted over from that eastern side. Alula crosses over the water to the banks of Rozhok. But pretty much this one comes down to zone 2. There's plenty of space for absolutely everyone here. So we can probably talk about some of our teams. Currently in this one, Yangon Galacticos getting a very free and easy rotate from that south side. But AGAL wasn't a horrendous game last time around, but they did fall over at some point. I think I'd like to see a step up from this squad, probably towards the first portion of the day, right? First 3 matches, I'd like to see something good out of this squad, and that would indicate they could potentially be in that top 6.
I think so. I mean, certainly coming into the survival stage, if you had to pick AGAL or Tiamba to be in the first place position of this lobby, this is not the reality that you would have selected, given the performances that we saw back in those group stages. For AGAL, they have fallen off, but not far enough to be outside of that opportunity zone. With GOAT Team in second place on 57 points, that's 17 points ahead of AGAL in 12th, which means that they have a massive opportunity to be able to push on through, to change the story here. As for almost all of our teams, in fact, as the circle crunches in, again, fairly chilled out circle, keeps that northern side a little bit in, but again, you're just gonna have to look to move forwards. And Alula split themselves 2 and 2 to try and find the best way across. I imagine that they've spotted Alpha 7 on that location. With Alpha 7 looking to regroup, Alula will be able to get through. It's interesting. It would be interesting to see if they try and go 2 and 2 and actually cross into different locations, because at that point, they're committing to being completely split until they can regroup in maybe zone 7.
It's really hard, okay? It's really, really hard to play across Boatyard, wrap through the rolling hills on the south side of Boatyard, and back to one another, which is why you're actually seeing them re-rotate to regroup over towards the western edge, alongside with the rest of the team that's south of Box. AGAL getting blasted right now as they push over towards Ruins. This was a very desperate rotate. They're mildly successful, honestly, off the back of it. They get into position, they play the bunkers, they play the sandbags.
Okay.
Not horrendous. Actually not horrendous. Flower H's vehicle is on its last legs, though.
They do have a blowtorch, so they can actually repair that one up. I think that's what you can hear in the background there. You've got your headphones in, making sure that they are nice and healthy. Yeah, I feel like mild, maybe even up to medium successful.
Yeah,
on
medium,
this push.
medium success.
Maybe
you're right.
Bit of piri-piri on that one.
Piri, yeah, exactly. It's spicy rotation. Could have been bad. I think a lot of people and teams were trying to figure out where they wanted to go. But AJL had a very clear decision in mind. A lot of teams don't push towards Ruins too early either, because they don't want to be on that slope. You would rather have the information and the vision down towards that south side. So I think AGAL plays into that quite quickly and is like, okay, maybe we can get sandbags off the back of this one. I don't imagine anyone's pushed in there too early. Boatyard team potentially might have gone for that one, but Dopeness is on a weird 2-2 split over on the western side of Boatyard and then down towards the south by the roads. So they are likely not going to be able to regroup anytime soon.
I think it's a 3-1 coming on through. To me, that stinks of not moving quickly enough and responding to the circle, because you know what the other teams around you
Kenji is done
are going to be going for, right? He's on foot getting down there, or is he? Maybe he's in a buggy, not entirely sure. No, he is, just on his belly, trying to survive, trying to not make any sound. As soon as Alula read that he's here, he's gone, he's out.
Yeah, they did then hear him. He leapt off at just the right time. Sneaky beaky down towards the bottom here. I think maybe that was his vehicle.
Maybe.
You saw it there. It is hidden. It is hidden away. And we are heading over towards Ruins, in fact. A lot of teams will have to figure this one out. AJL, medium success to massive success, honestly.
Yeah.
Really, really well done.
With that circle, they have got themselves a really nice slice of it. Alpha 7's compound as well is pretty huge, overlooking so much the fields to the south. They've got a lot of pressure to the east. E-Arena may look to try and crash down upon them, but I don't think there's an impetus to do that within the next maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes potentially. GOAT team in with a scrap on the south side as they're trying to leave past Gatka open across those fields, but the Wolves are dragging them down into a fight.
Wolves actually in the top 6 right now. Kind of interesting. They've been able to get some points on board, but Elementrix will fall now. Baton moved over towards that northern edge. They were split on the team quite fully along with one another. Slonic just about able to get off into the distance, but before he does get knocked down, I think for Wolves right now, there's a bit of a awkward push out. And they weren't really thinking that, oh my God, there's going to be a lot of teams coming from that south side. And we're quickly shut down because of it. Ulf tries to go center. Ulf is not a team we expected to be in 13th here. I think this is a very big surprise for everyone. Currently only on 2 players. And we're probably thinking that for the guys on Ulf, this is a hard achievement to make happen in the last 4 matches, because I don't think they're getting many points off the back of this game. They would have to shoot up the rankings if they want to make it to the top 6, and Ulf getting sent home today would be a massive deal.
Definitely. I mean, it is a team that has had some ups and downs, I think it's safe to say, over the course of these group stages. Not quite able to make it all the way into the top 5. They were definitely in with a chance here. The lobby is close enough in terms of these overall scores right now, Blank, that they can still make it. It does require them to be pushing pretty hard and fast, though. For Ulf, it's likely they're going to need to see at least 5 points off this match to keep themselves in the running, moving into the latter half of the day. And to be fair, from their position on the north edge, that may well be doable as a duo. If Al-Ula don't commit to pushing out onto that angle, there's really not too many other teams that are going to threaten them. So it's a survival strategy for Ulf, and it may go quite well. They did send all the way from the southeast straight through the middle to get to this spot. That's why they've managed to shed all the players that they had. But yeah, it's a tough game for them. They do need to make the most of it.
Yeah, which is why it is a massive success for AGAL on that rotate, because they stopped early enough. They didn't lose too many players. They brought things to repair the rotational devices with, aka cars, which is great. Great news for them. And they should have some success into the future too. We do move over towards that western side. Alpha 7 thrown a bone here, but I would argue that they set themselves up nicely in that early game. I'm hoping this trend continues. Honestly, I think Alpha 7 looks good today. They do look good today.
Yeah, with that pressure on the northern shore to divert Al-Ula away, remove a lot of that. That's what you were talking about, right?
Yeah.
With their ability to hold that 2-2 split. I liked they did regroup on the northern side, so they weren't solos.
Very quick to reassess the scenario as well and get back down towards this location. I genuinely believe that, although, yeah, sure, the rest of the team's very, very good, Guizhou has been this driving factor for the team today. He's been making a lot of calls, a lot of decisions on the fly. And I think it's been helpful. I think it has been helpful. It's just strange that one of the newer players of the squad is the one to sort of drag the team along with him. Furia making a similarly wild rotate in. Yangon Galacticos looking to punish, and Chief is down. And oh yeah,
that is nasty stuff coming through. One player now left for Furia. Coach not looking too happy. Gonna have words with them after this one, I'm sure. Trying to figure out the best path forwards. GK, they were put through the ringer in that last match, but it looks like they're going to survive on their compound as well. As RRQ go down to them. Too much damage for them to bear, and Ragnarok back to his feet. The res comes on in. Tianba in the meantime getting torn apart by AGAL. There is an answer a little bit, but the nades over the top just slow things down. And they only have Milu left standing, and it needs another. Let's go for another 1v4. Why not?
Great nade from Maple, honestly. Very well done here. Sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to post these nades over inside of sandbags because there's a lot of terrain that stops you from fully committing those nades inwards. Maybe getting a little bit over-aggressive here, forgetting that Castle is in play. Nade over the top, tries to finish out QZZ, does go far enough. Well done. Really good hold here from AGAL, leaving, like you say, Milu, the 1v4 master, alive at the end here.
For Tianba, another fairly low-scoring game, potentially on the cards here, with only the single elim found. We said before, it's probably still fairly safe for them right now, but they do need to pick up a couple points here and there, Blank.
Yeah.
It is unfortunate in this spot. Losing 3 of their players like that is not how you want to start. Dopeness on the south side against Nongshim Red Force. Nongshim Red Force playing with only 2 players in action, and Dopeness similarly losing 1 of their players as well. As they left Kenji in the shadow of Alula. We saw him dropping down earlier on.
GK holding. Next circle is closing now. We have a lot of Everest over towards that western side. The arena's trying to bank as much information as possible at the moment. Store that away. Filing cabinets, pull out the secret files for later, where these teams will be playing, how they want to approach an endgame. They have been very quiet so far, very spy-like.
Wolf now being descended upon. The duo that moved out there earlier, able to do a little bit there, but Scarface does get flushed. Aaron's not too long to follow. A victim of the MG3 on the northern side, and Ulf will go down, so not what they were looking for here to keep themselves in the running. They'll need something bigger in the next few, and very, very quickly. As we turn our attention towards the teams now left in the circle. GK, they've been holding their nerve. They're up to 5 elims on this match now, Blank. They're doing well on the south side. They've rebuffed pushes there. They have the buildings to play around. Goat team on 6 elims as well, looking to come off the back of a strong rondo in towards Erangel with some force.
Well, they have force with them, so don't worry. He is on the team. We're good to go. But they're going to have to move it towards that northeast side. I think it's a slightly interesting push they'll have to make, and if they want to wrap down towards the south here and play in slow, definitely doable. Alpha 7, they pulled off from that northern portion of the compound and fully situated themselves down towards the south here. Understanding the teams are likely wrapped through fields, were in the compound down towards the southwest, which they are right, and that is Goat team. So they're fully focusing a lot of their attention over towards Everest and their southwest. This is a good approach to the game from them. GK doing something very similar, looking to hold out the teams that are on the southern edge. You've just got Milu remaining down there.
Ooh. Alpha 7's position gets so much stronger when E-Arena leave the top of Everest. For Goat team, that is good news for the time being, but as soon as E-Arena move, their rooftops become so dangerous against Goat team. They're going to have to have a real think about how they want to go for this one. And I feel like E-Arena is starting to peel off those angles.
Yeah, starting to look over towards Alula again. They have had that information for quite some time now. Nongshim Red Force, Hyunbin opens up over towards Killer Joe. That's a backstab coming through here, and will slow the guys from Go down. Revo actually looking to swing by in the vehicle, get some information, but Nongshim Red Force definitely the main force that is distracting away from Goat. And Goat turns their eye towards them. You could see them just about start to shimmy back down towards that southeast side, realizing they got to get rid of this team.
Hyunbin causing problems there. Nongshim Red Force again, they're on 2 players alive. They're out of this current zone, Blank. They have to step forwards. So finding these little openings is exactly what they needed. Diminishing the power of Goat team across the way. You love to see it. You love to see it. Hyunbin with another nade over the top. They're not quite connecting either way. Bootsman starts to get closer with that buggy. Gets the scouting done. Hyunbin putting damage down range, but does have to duck back as he gets clocked himself. He's very, very low there. And in the meantime, TZ is fending off against Geeko, who won a third party. Hyunbin falls.
Yeah, Hyunbin going down here. Good nades going through from Goat team, but in comes the shots from the sidelines here, and it is Revo finding Moxie. This is good. Very, very well done. You have to capitalize on that, and this was the plan from the very start, John, for Alpha 7. Looking better and better as the day goes on here. Kiwoom DRX technically have center circle on this one, but they have been so lackluster throughout the tournament. It's hard to call them doing much going forward. They'll have to change our minds essentially as the day goes on. E-Arena did now finally pull fully off of Everest here. They still have Mormon on the low ground. Oh, Milu 1v4 time, question mark.
Is he going to do it again? There's 2 players down. Oh, that one felt like it might have connected as well. Milu with a chance here to go big again. The two players from GK not getting back on up, and he has got them on the run. They're trying to step into position to go for this res, but steps out, looks for it, darts into the building now. The res did not get stuck, and he's got another. He's just got 8 rounds left, though. The DBS out of ammo, and there is no more left in the tank.
It ruins the day of GK, though. That's nuts. That is nuts. I mean, Milu is just disgusting. Oh, my goodness me. Go team up to 8 eliminations on this game, despite everything still putting up those points. Alpha 7 wrapped underneath. Tried to catch him off guard there. Fuchsman did send over towards that southeast side, looking to hold out Tizzy from Nongshim Red Force. Kiwoom DRX also taking shots over. And Force will be knocked, leaving just Fuchsman remaining. We'll see if Alpha 7 is able to pick up that point, and they do.
Oh, he steps out into it. TZ holds his nerve. Gets across and now looks to heal. There's a lot of crates on this location, remember, because Milu was doing some dastardly deeds out in the open, so potential to find a lot of loot here, but I don't know if TZ's going to stop. In the meantime, AGAL, good shot. 721 GS looking to take the fight. AGAL with their maximum successful rotate earlier on. Looking to try and convert now into transition into this circle. Alpha 7. Oh, they've just lost a player on that northern side. Revo went out too close to E-Arena and does get clipped.
I mean, it has to be the scout, though. I think that's fair. The fact they're trying to gather information, now the rest of the team knows that there's players on this north side. So annoying for AGAL, by the way, because Alula not for a second tried to check Kenji. So no one's known he's here for so long. He backstabs over towards AGAL, starts to move out, and he is completely scuppered their game plan.
Changing the tempo on the lobby as the Arena look to try and isolate this northern side as well.
Everyone.
He's just going for it. Okay, Kenji, a demon on the descent there, leaving one player back. We thought it might have been a misplay, but blank. I think I still believe that, but he goes down. But a really solid performance from that angle. But Dopeness, 4 elims into a 6th place. I think that's more than they could have hoped for in that spot.
Another late entry for AJL, though, today. Getting further and further into these games. It's nice to see their name popping up towards these endpoints. Alula forced to move down, and AJL looking to bolster this position. They flow up. Carrillo looking over towards KRX. XZZ opens up over towards Claws, but it's Yasa over towards Flower H to get him down. This is going back and forth, but Maple comes through with the shotgun and will finish them off in fantastic fashion. They've got to get quickly with those players back up on their feet. But E-Arena from the western side, they've got the license to a limb right now. The spies coming through from on top of Everest. Telescopes and binoculars put away, and they're looking to get the big elims on.
Kiwoom DRX as well into the fight. XZZ with a chance to shut it all down, though. Their chance to jump up the tables to get themselves off of the back foot here, but they are now on one player alive. He's burning, and now the DBS is going to try and shut him down from up on high. Tags one, but can't get the second done. Where did he go down from? Was that E-Arena? Schweppes moves on out, as do the rest of them. What a flex across.
Alpha 7 now up against E-Arena. Good flex coming through from them, like you say. Goodness me, felt bad for him on that last DBS shot. Took him so incredibly low. Would have been a great clutch up for AJL, but still a strong game for them at 15 points total. 2 final teams. E-Arena, who came blasting out in their group with a huge game, versus Alpha 7, who are slowly but surely regaining confidence in these matches.
Losing Revo earlier may be a difference maker here, though, Blank. For Alpha 7, they need all the sightlines they can get, and E-Arena have been able to change the pace. Play slow and immediately turn it on when it mattered. Rolling around on the hillsides, they're trying to get that information, but Mormon with that MG3, a major threat on the angle. Obscure and Guizao pulling up and maybe looking to go trade for trade with the nades. Obscure dodges that one, launches one in response, and Mormon steps out of the way. MG3 to rattle Obscure straight on down on the hillside. Schweppes steps in, and Joker is the trade. Now 2 players have the broadside on Tourniquet, but he manages to turn around the headland and stay alive. A 2v3 now.
Tony K backing off, comes back around the angle, moment over the top side, he's flying through the air, might get out of the vehicle, but his eye on fire. Guido goes down to a rundown as he gets out the car, leaving just Carrillo in a 1v3. A hard game from them. A chicken dinner would be great, but this feels like an impossible task. Moves off the angle, 5 grenades. They have to be absolutely exemplary. Cannot get the shots underneath the vehicle over towards Tony K. Likely going to be going for a first aid kit. Swings one far, looking for the bounce. Might hit good, doesn't quite grab him though. Constantly repositioning.
Another Molotov on the vehicle forces him away from it. Has to step into the firing line. And E-Arena, from atop the Everest position, able to descend, control the northern side, and squeeze the life out of the lobby.
I mean, they pulled up those files. None of them were classified. They had locked-in info on every single team. And they took the silencer out and certainly silenced a lot of these squads in the lobby. The boys in Alpha 7, though, another good game. A repeat of success is really good to see from them. And again, what I really liked is I understood the game plan from them. It felt like it wasn't haphazard from the squad. And even when Revo went down, I didn't really mind that all that much either. I was like, he's doing his job. He's scouting out for the team. Yes, he gets a little bit far and potentially wasn't expecting the sight lines from E-Arena on the top side. But even if you do go down like that, at least you're passing back information. There's a northern squad there. So for Alpha 7, another strong game. I think it is a top 6 today.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I have to agree. I feel like that was a lot better. They addressed some of the issues from that first rondo. They were a little bit more dynamic when they needed to be. Losing Revo may be something they can patch up, but it is improvement consistently, which is exactly what you need for a survival stage. So great news for them. And E-Arena able to do a lot of work to try and push themselves back into that conversation as well. Yeah, there have been questions about the consistency of this roster. Of course, Schwepp's the only player here to have that opportunity at the triple title of PMWC. He has been able to win it twice before, so to see him go home in the survival stage would be pretty galling, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good stuff so far, though. AGAL looking fantastic. Today seems to be the day of getting back on form, but we'll be back on form very shortly after a very short while.
Hi, Kalaris here at PMWC for day 2 of Survival Stage. We haven't got to talk to Wolves at all throughout this tournament so far, so why on earth not do it here with Baton to talk about everything that's going to be going on so far from basically the group stage into the Survival Stage. So thank you for joining me here, Baton. I want to ask you about, obviously you guys got a second place with 11 eliminations on that last game yesterday, but so far, the chicken dinners, the wins have kind of eluded you. What's denying you those chicken dinners? I understand the tournament's very hard, of course, but what's it like from the team's perspective?
I mean, first of all, we're doing like a lot of individual mistakes, you know, and we're not far up to the end of the game. That's our main problem. We're trying to fix it, and I think if you will be far up every game, it should be much easier and to get chicken dinners, win, whatever.
So let's talk about the Los Leones game specifically, right? Because you guys got to Los Leones pretty early relative to everybody, a lot of other teams, and committed to it quite early as well. When you look back on that, a second place with 11 wins is great, but are there any moments from that game or in that game that you look back on and you think you could have done differently, or even differently enough to be able to beat AGAL in the final moments?
I think it would be different if me and Necessary stay alive, because we lost, like, me and Necessary in fight with NS Red Force. We could just hold them, like, because they didn't have the zone. If we just hold them and we were like 4 up, I think it was our game.
So I guess I'll actually add a final question as well. What was the expectation for Wolves coming into this tournament? As I mentioned before, obviously, and you know as well, a very hard tournament overall, the best teams in the world. What's the goal for Wolves here in this tournament?
Okay, for now it's obviously just to qualify to the final.
Yeah.
But in the final, just to improve our game and show our best.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Batham, for joining us here. This is day number 2 of the survival stage, and we're signing out right now.
Thank you, Kalaris, for that amazing interview. And E-Arena, Max, we finally see them showing up here, even though they were just chilling for the longest time in Everest. But great movement out of that squad to come out with the win.
A non-rondo chicken dinner? Well, I'll take every day of the week. No, it's really good to see Everest, of course. Very important area if you have a circle shifting towards the northwestern side of Erangel, which is what ended up happening there around ruins. But in particular, what I loved is they were trying to get rid of threats before they become a major threat. In this game in particular, Al-Ula, they were having major control of ruins. I think you might want to talk about them later on, Liptura. But they had really big control of ruins, and I think E-Arena understood that would be a big issue for them later on down the line. So they knew if they try and get rid of Al-Ula, or maybe not straight up eliminate them, but force them away from their position, maybe they can actually end up getting the win. So I think E-Arena here, that was some top tier stuff, and I wish to see it just more consistently.
And Lace, one thing that we saw too is them gatekeeping Alpha 7 in a way, because Alpha 7 ended up being just in the house. Usually that's a team that likes to spread their wings a little bit more in that kind of position, but E-Arena wasn't allowing them to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really even disappointed with what they were trying to do in that certain scenario. You know, they were, down a player compared to that. So them being able to sort of scout that position, obviously, I think when our wonderful IGL got out of the vehicle, probably just a bit too early. I think that's where the miscommunication led them. And obviously he was not in a good position whilst, E-Arena was still scouting in the vehicles. But look, it's a better effort. Like, we have to take from yesterday to today, they're getting in those top 5s.
And better effort, we saw that from KRX in this game as well. Not necessarily the final push, KRX, but you know what? You guys have been absolutely awful so far, so I'm happy to see some great stuff from you guys.
Yeah, it is nice to see a little bit of life coming in from them, but E-Arena just cleaning things up. Flips, oh my goodness me. E-Arena, very, very impressed with how they played this, waiting for A7 to make a move first, to come to them, to let them know where their position is, and then just going all the way around. I mean, MG3 does help, Max. We know how powerful that weapon can be, especially in the hands of a professional team like this. But A7 had a lot of options, and E-Arena just made sure that those options dwindled very, very quickly. So very happy with EA for this last game.
Quick positive for all the teams at the end there, in particular looking at Alpha 7 and E-Arena. Not doing these weird drive-bys and just losing all of your momentum. Like, they actually stop the car, get out of the car, start shooting, and then they get back in the car, start driving forward. So I do appreciate that. I'm sure Blank is going to heavily enjoy that finishing moment. What was that?
So can you do that again for us?
Damn, boy, you made the whole camera shake and everything. But one team that has been performing really well has been Go Team. Go Team, they ended up with the win early on. We know that they can definitely put up the numbers. I want to see Go Team between yesterday and today, because this squad is different. Keep in mind, this is total stats, and so far, Go Team, we know those eliminations are going to be coming in, but Lace, one thing I'm looking at is those placement points already double in some the placement points of yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, they're really thinking this through. Even if we, come out of that match and their rotation from military base, and like, I do want to kind of add in RRQ just into this mix, because they had every opportunity to be able to gatekeep on military bridge. They didn't, just decided to rotate, but their power in holding a position is unfortunately not the best. But that's what GOAT can realize. They moved through that sort of western side. They were able to position themselves well. Nice split hold, which we see from them so often. They have that dominance power. So this is exactly why we're seeing them collectively get these good positions and these eliminations. So, I mean, it's incredible work from them, and I do believe that they're going to maintain that top 6. I believe it because of the way that they've been playing throughout yesterday and today. It's amazing.
No, it really is. I'm really enjoying how they're
playing. The greatest of all time.
It is. It really is. But I
Shut your mouth.
really enjoy the zone control that they're trying to keep going forward game after game. It's a nice bit of consistency that we're seeing. EA as well, not to go back to them, but they had a really nice push down off the mountain. They were able to sweep behind really well after Alula. Yes, hello, A7 as well. You know, second place, okay, that's good. But stop. No, but for me, Alula was a really nice. The way that they split around to surround Ulf when they pushed out the spread across that zone. They did actually try to push up to EA as well, which I did notice, but I think just that terrain was just not going to be really happening there. But for me, Alula, except for the final crash where they just disintegrated in 0.5 seconds, apart from that, really good game. I like it.
Nice, Alula. One team that I know you were keeping an eye on as well, Max, is none other than Tiamba, because Tiamba, what was it that you were looking at? Tell me a little bit more.
Not a great push, unfortunately, on their Chinese brethrens of all gamers. And actually, I believe we do have a replay that might be coming up in just a few seconds here. Actually, it's going to be this one. But the thing is about Tiamba, I think the idea of pushing onto all gamers is great. You can see all the players get knocked here. And the thing is, if you want to push in this area, you have to commit. You need to send it and eliminate the opposition, which is going to be all gamers in this case, because everyone got wrecked literally upon entry in this area. It's just a nade funnel at that point. And then eventually, all gamers, Maple in particular, is like, wait, we got a massive advantage here. We're just going to wrap it up, end up getting all of those flushes, and only Milu is left alive, which, no, Milu can do 1v4s, we've seen it before. But Tiamba, sure, they're in first position, but I'm looking ahead of the finals. In the finals, I would say this is a massive fumble, maybe that could cost them the tournament. So Tiamba, position like this, you can't play too passive, you need to commit if you want to come out on top.
Especially when you have a team like AGAL wanting to be even more aggressive, wanting to make that push, because they also need the points. This is a team that hasn't really been performing well, but let's take a look at how the standings are currently looking. Tiamba is still in first place, but Alpha 7 making that push now to second place. Go team, due to those amazing eliminations that they were able to get in that last game, they maintained themselves there within the top 3. And we're going to start seeing a bit of a gap here between some of the points too, Max, as Furia goes all the way down to 5th.
Yeah, it's been looking a little bit tough, unfortunately. I'm not seeing anything from Silence and Ayala, which is quite unfortunate. We know those guys are very good, literally on the local stage or on the international stage. It's been kind of the Higor show right now for the side of Furia. So I would love to see a little bit of a team-wide effort, though, on the second page. Boy, Ulf, what's going on? They're losing players on, like, phase 2 or 3, Niptura. This is not the Ulf that I know.
It isn't the one that I know either. It's not the one that anybody knows, quite frankly. It's not the one we saw in the group stage. Yes, they kind of slowed down in some of the group stage games, but it's not the same. It's not the same at all. I don't know what's happening. We've gone from, players of, the old Fireflux, right? We had players of old Fireflux being, with Ketch as the IGL, and they're making such a massive comeback, and then all of a sudden they get here, and they just fizzle out, and I'm so confused because this is a team that has incredible firepower, right? They are so good at that aggressive play, and we're just not seeing anything. Well, exactly. I mean, how do you go from old Fireflux, a lot of those players being on old Fireflux with that reputation, coming over here, continuing that reputation, and then doing nothing now?
Just final point on that one. Usually they're slow starting team. This is taking way too long to build up that momentum. It's very, very slow.
That's right, Alpha 7 fans. Get a little bit high because the team is finally performing. We're seeing something different from this squad. So let's go, Alpha 7. Let's send it over to none other than the man with high energy, Hot Jukes, and Kalaris.
Yes, all right. We've got a few teams to talk about before we actually kind of get things into the next game. I got Hot Jukes here with me for everything. And we got a few teams, such as E-Arena, getting themselves a win when they hit those big highs. They hit it really hard. Here from Everest was a great position to stage this from. Good information from there, not only a great staging point.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you said biggest highs, right? They've had like the biggest in a past for Rondo, right? But still couldn't make it into the finals then. But they're here now. They get the chicken dinner. 17 points was critical, right? So it's good to finally see them make something happen. Even though it is on the last day, we still got 4 matches left to go. It's a great start.
What's particularly impressive is holding Alpha 7 in that compound to then swing around the north side, hit the east, be able to clean that up, eliminating threats. They're a very opportunistic team, and I think that was really exemplified in that game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they had all the sight lines on everything, holding that edge at first, and then they saw that fight happening down there with KRX. They go down, take it, get those eliminations, and still pop on back, like you mentioned, to be able to take out Alpha 7 and clutch it up. Very nice.
One of the teams, of course, they did kind of clean up on that east side. AGAL, who of course is in the running for a club championship point, in the running to try and get themselves a strong, solidified position in that top 6 as well. What did you think of them?
AGAL needs top 6. They need to see this team make it to the finals. It was so brutal watching it at the last second. XZZ with the DBS. I thought he hit the headshot, but wasn't able to get the finish. But still, 11 eliminations. So they ended up getting 15 points based on that. A solid performance. But at the end of the day, this is still a close one.
I like their pandas. Do you think they've got the blessing of the panda?
The pandas are looking out to the audience right now. They're looking into the distance. They can see the future. And you know what? The future is bright for AGAL.
All right, well, the pandas are going to be staring down the casters here to get things rolling. So let's get another game going here for PMWC.
All right, looking like a little magician with the flourish there. Emphasis on the little. He's a short man. Thank you very much down on the stage. You have to get your
small man with a big voice.
Yeah, I'm quite tall. I don't know what you're talking about. Please, leave me alone. Oh dear, that was my imitation of a couple of our other teams, certainly in Rondo over in Tangier.
Please, leave me alone. I don't want to fight. I want like some placements, please.
Yeah, just
if possible.
Let me live. Let me live, please.
Yeah.
Go team were like,
no. Furia don't look too happy. The body language is looking a little bit rough. We got Yangon Galactica stats here. Sub 1,000 damage average per game. I mean, it's not like they're doing nothing. I think Yangon Galacticos have been putting up a good fight. Again, for sort of an unknown from last year to a very well known. I don't think they're doing terribly right now at PMWC whatsoever, but they would like to get to the finals at least. They got to get on the bike now, though, 100%.
Absolutely. Definitely something you need to try and step up towards. We said it would be a little bit of a shame if the defending champions weren't there in the finals, but if you're not good enough, doesn't matter what you've done before, you need to do it now. You need to get stuck in. And we're going over Erangel, the plane path. Heavy south lean on it again, blank. From that Sosnovka military base over towards Lipovka. It is pretty nasty, isolating positions up on the northwest, and I feel like the team I'm thinking about when I think they're Alpha 7 over in North George. Where are they going to go?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I think Alpha 7 should have a secondary here. We'll see exactly which one it is. Maybe eastern side, potentially. It's a very long time ago they used to do that, though. But yeah, Furia, definitely a team that's at risk right now. They're on 57 points. I know they can do more. They know they can do more. Like I said, the body language looks a little bit rough at the moment. See a bit more energy. They might need a bit of a pep talk between match 3 and match 4. One of the teams jumping out nice and early here. Go dropping in towards Sosnovka. Hard to get towards the north side of the map. There might actually be some, not hot drops, but some contested locations for vehicles, etc.
I feel like there's a little grouping of players there around where the Wolves are. Geek are underneath that. The northern point of RRQ could potentially be a danger zone, and everybody out just northwest of Milta over towards the mansion shelter prison sort of area. There is a lot of players dropping out there, and I don't think there's that many vehicles, Blank. It's going to be tight.
Also, we are going back to Lipovka. Lipovka split actually for Alpha 7.
Okay.
They did this quite frequently, so they are going east side. Nice to see. AGAL down towards Milta Power and Mini Milta. Lovely circle for everyone. Honestly, this is probably one of the kinder circles they could have gone for here. It's not fully down towards Sosnovka, but it is around the area where you'd want to be playing, where the plane path has been dropped to you off. So yeah, fine, just fine stuff. For Ulf, I'm going to say now, if they want to be in the top 6, we need like a second place or a high elim game, top 3, or a chicken dinner. If not, it's going to be a very hard end of the day. They're currently 14th place. You know it's bad when Keywoom DRX is actually catching up to you. That's a problem. They've had a really rough time of it.
Yeah, they are currently 17 points behind that bubble in 6th place. So there is a real gap for them to close. But Ulf could do it. They definitely could. I mean, they're slap bang in the center of this circle. They've got a lot of time to play around with. Hopefully they can find something here. As you said, it's what they would need.
And for top 6, it's actually very kind. It's so kind that match 6 is probably going to be comical again, where teams are going in and out from that top 6 over and over again. So we finally settle on the Chosen. Yeah, it's getting very, very tight-knit on the leaderboards. You want to get a tight-knit grouping
okay.
on your spray.
Okay. How do you do that?
You've got to make sure you have the Ninetales Fury Orc skin from in-game. Make sure you also pick up the Naruto set. There it is.
Oh, okay.
Teasers for a while there, but finally we got it on board.
Looks pretty.
But it does look pretty. It also has an alternate version as well. We're going to show me the spin. Show me the spin. No spin.
No spin. Spinless.
Spinless?
None for you. You've got to get it in game to see the ultimate.
That is really sad, actually.
Well, you win some, you lose some.
You do. But you can certainly win some lovely skins from the current Naruto event, because it is fantastic. I think it is specifically Shippuden as well.
I'm sure that means something. I'll have to get...
That's right, John.
I'll have to get Maxman on that one.
That's correct.
Generally, the things you say tend to have meaning, so I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt there.
Yeah, it's a huge event.
Nonsense.
It's a huge event. It's a huge thing in game. Just like Tsunade, it's fantastic. Yeah. I'm really happy to see it. And again, I really, really am glad we're getting more and more of these skins in game.
You guys couldn't see it, but he literally bounced when he said
I did, yeah.
I'm so glad.
JJK, you know, we've had everything. We've had everything so far. I can only imagine it'll continue. So big up to the PUBG Mobile team.
Oh yeah.
Please continue.
Big fan on that one. E-Arena on a wide 2-2 split right now. Well, fairly wide, I think it's safe to say, from Severny and South Georgia, although it's very much uncontested at this point. There's really no one breaking out that wide, with the plane path being so far southwest early on. Southeast early on. Nobody's contesting, so they'll be able to push back fairly easily, you'd imagine. The question is direction. Do they regroup over towards Severny or to the west side by Georgia Pole? As Ulf mount up as well. And as we said before, they need to light a bit of a firecracker underneath themselves.
That they do, John. Right now, it is a bit of a struggle bus for Ulf. They're going to grab the buggy, get a move on, but they are fairly central already. 721 GS, realistically the only team that is in front of them at the moment. Nongshim Red Force down towards that south side. It is very tight on that grouping. 49 points in 9th. I mean, honestly, even all the way down to 12th place with Yangon Galacticos on 45, it is not a major jump of 12 points to get over towards 5th place. And then it's 10 points to jump over to tie with 6th. This is all over the place right now. A lot of teams want to stay in. For AJAL, they have had a good day so far. I think if they want to solidify a little bit, you have one more strong game here, and then the rest of your day feels a little bit more comfortable. Tiamba, I think it's looking more and more unlikely that they will drop out. I think they'd like 8 more points roughly to get towards that 90-point area, and then they'll be in much better stead. And again, I am talking sort of very big unlikelies right now that Tiamba drops out. But they have been a little bit slow today. I think they started at 75 points, and over the last 2 matches, they've been able to garner 7.
Yeah, not being as much as they would need. And what we are also looking at now is confirmation gains from 2nd to 4th, right? If you get Alpha 7, Goat Team or E-Arena with a good game, they jump up over that 80-point boundary. All of a sudden, they're also going to be an uncatchable target, which just shrinks down the number of teams that can start to play in that flux zone in the middle of those tables. So that is also what we're going to be looking out for those top teams to push themselves over that final hurdle. Tiamba, as you said, a little bit more up to their old tricks, I think, today over the course of it. A little bit timid. There has been some sticky scenarios, I think it's safe to say, but still, we want to see a little bit more.
Yeah, they learned a new trick yesterday. They've forgotten it already. Like when you try and replicate one of those card tricks you learned when you were like 14 and it goes horribly wrong.
Yeah.
And then everyone looks at you and laughs.
Yeah. I forgot my cards. And you're in the middle of the trick and you're like, wait a minute, I forgot all of my cards.
Oh, well, I mean, that's a really bad start to any kind of card trick.
Oh, wait.
Oh, wait. Just imagine it. Pretend we're doing it.
Pick a card in your mind.
Now, pretend you've got the extra space. Was that your card? Yeah, we're heading over towards Dip right now. And Mini Dip. Furia taking up location there. We're still waiting for Zone 2 to pop around. And slightly slower game so far here, just with the fact that we've had 2 games so far where the circles have not been egregious. This plane path was pretty bad. It was pretty bad for getting everyone across the map, but the circle was very kind on the direction that it went. It does mean that we pack a lot of teams in very early towards the center because they were so close to rotate. E-Arena was one of the few teams that actually sent very wide earlier on to get themselves into position, and actually can play off the back of Rozhok on this one. They can even go further over towards the eastern side if they'd like, play off the bridge side. But man, there's a lot of teams on the south side right now that do need to move further towards the north. So this could be a lot of traffic jams going on, a lot of honking of the horns to try and get on through. Tiamba has a free approach though, free cut up towards that north side of the map.
Big access. Ulf as well were fairly proximate to the apartment buildings near school, so they should be able to take control maybe of some of the hills to the south, generally a fairly solid position, or maybe even sending into those apartment blocks themselves as well. Furia may be content to just sit here for a little moment longer. They are kind of fine in this zone. They're probably happy to watch AGAL and 721GS get into a little tussle off in the distance as we hop on board with that.
AGAL losing 2 players, 3 in fact, in quick succession. Liu there, the only player able to clap back, and it's looking very bad right now for AGAL. They are trying to maintain presence. The players are starting to surround them. They've had 2 good games back to back, and I think for Liu it might be just the situation of leaving, regrouping here with Flower H and playing on as 2 going forward.
What a nasty turnaround there, getting stuck in a fight with 721GS, who are in 15th place. When you're on that 6th place bubble right now, playing as 2 is far from favorable. When you may have been able to control such an important central position. Goodness me, what a way to lose that sort of spot. Now Fury are close by. Tianba, Ulf, all will have heard this fight unfold. And they'll be aware of what they could be able to achieve. They'll have counted the player numbers going down. They'll know AGAL are starting to flag. Great news for teams like Kike, for Nongshim Red Force and RRQ to look to push past them as well.
Yeah, for Nongshim Red Force looking a little bit better here, moving over towards that northern side of Potato Hill, looking to regroup on this one. Ulf played over towards apartments, but not quite actually. They have 1 player inside on the south side, that's Eren, and they're trying to secure a location outside. They don't want to fully commit to apartments just yet. We get this nice replay. It just was absolutely hectic. Luckily, Liu here is able to get some good damage off, try and salvage the situation, but he knows better than anyone that it is better to try and get himself a top 6 at least as a 2-man than trying to just live out through there. I think there's been plenty of times where AGAL has made this mistake, where they are so adamant on getting all 4 players back up again. I want to see more of this from AGAL. They're just playing on its 2, just trying to see what you can salvage from a match.
Those single-digit point games often are pretty make or break. I mean, we do focus a lot on the big point-scoring games, but if you're able, and I've said this so many times, if you're able across all 12 of these matches to get 1 point more per match, you're getting 12 extra points there. It is such a significant difference to be able to play those small ball situations and get some profit out of it, because 12 points could be a difference maker in a massive way.
Okay, so it looks like actually PEL is coming to play here over towards this eastern side. Both Chinese teams, and Tiamba as well as AGAL, instantaneously sent for apartments. I think it's the correct send too. A lot of teams likely haven't decided on fully committing towards this location. But Tiamba, this is more of a gamble. For AGAL, it's a necessity, right? They have to send here and find a location that teams aren't going to be willing to sweep through, because there are so many other squads in this area, and likely will be towards the end game, taking shots at one another. This is an area that AGAL can potentially secure a high placement off the back of. Maybe not a high eliminations, and maybe able to steal a couple of elims here and there. But yeah, I think that was a good maneuver from AGAL, because even Ulf hadn't decided whether they wanted to fully play over towards apartments just yet.
The arena over in the school as well. looking to post out on the top there, try and keep control over the surrounding fields, the open areas. North side, you've got Alula and Alpha 7, who are opposing ends of Rozhok. Meanwhile, near Pachinki, Yangon Galacticos trying to take a turn around the town, with Q1DRX behind them on their south. Goat team out on the east side of Pachinki, as well as Wolves up to the north. It's fairly packed in here, so I feel like for Yangon, they may just have to crash into a fight. Maybe they could find an outpost from Alula, and that could be a really good opener here if they're able to find R3B all on his own.
This is multiple times so far that Yangon Galacticos and Alula have found themselves very close to one another on the map. But I will say this, is that anytime that's happened, both Alula as well as Yangon tend to avoid one another. KRX getting taken down. Baton doing some very good work here, in fact, and Finny might just send away on this one. KRX getting absolutely decimated in the face of the Wolves.
RRQ similarly getting shredded as they try and make the cross. I think, yeah, RRQ now down to a solo over in the apartments as they try to dart across the fields to the south of school. Not going to work out. As you were highlighting there as well, Q1DRX tried to crash past the Wolves and there was no quarter given. 3 of them taken down. In the meantime, Goat and Nongshim Red Force clashing on the north side of Potato Hill. You can see the nades starting to fly, but XZY into the hovercraft to keep himself safe. Some nice cover there. Moxie with a nade cooking. Pin pulled for XZY as well. Back in towards that hovercraft. Can protect himself nicely from it. A lot of cover. A lot of security found, and away he goes. Goat team not able to extract anything so far.
We'll just go for the lob there for Ulf. This is looking like that game, and they are hella happy that they maintain control down towards that southern side and didn't fully commit towards the apartments there. It was a risk. There's definitely a risk where they couldn't fully control apartments and more teams poured in, but this means now they have this southern side to play. Really like this from Ulf. Again, just trying to confirm as much area as possible because they know they need a good game and they need one soon. This is their biggest chance though, so far. We want to see a strong match coming out from Ulf. Right now, my worry is that the player who is topping the charts a lot of times or doing majority of the work is Scarface. When we sort of know from first-hand experience that Ketch and Eren a lot of times are the Pistons that are doing the heavy lifting for this squad. So Scarface is definitely pulling up the slack a lot, but he wants to be the player that's enabling both those teammates to really do their best work. So again, let's see if they can get some more confidence on board inside this game, John.
I'm hoping as well that they won't be too timid in this center position, right? They would love a chicken dinner, but a good Elim chicken dinner is what is necessary. It's quite easy potentially to just sit back, get a little bit shy, and not get stuck in. Sure, the apartments fights, you don't really need to be peeking out too much. You're worried a little bit about the arena, but once those fights to their south start to move forwards, I want to see them flexing something out. Maybe getting stuck in, scouting those fights and trying to find angles.
Arena from school side, still taking shots over towards Alula. Yangon Galacticos took a little bit of damage. They lost one player in Marnet, but were able to carry on. Alula, however, taking many casualties. You can see Ulf on the other side. Really quite like to get rid of Alula. They are definitely invading a little bit here over towards their location. 200 bullets total on the 5.56 here. And a PP Bison for Scarface. So some strange kits here for Ulf. Hope that's not across the board. They did get gifted a loot crate though.
Oh yeah. Alpha 7 losing Revo on their rotation. And they take up post above on the top of the hill here, further south. They did move in from that north side, so losing one on this approach. Not the worst thing in the world. Could have certainly gone much more poorly for them. But now they're going to have to face off against Dopeness pushing in. The south side getting crunched towards as well as Goat look to re-engage potentially over towards Nongshim Red Force. The apartment's resolving in the meantime across the circle, but this Goat and Nongshim standoff has been going on for a while, Blank.
Yes, it has. I mean, Nongshim's just been giving space after space after space, which I think is fair enough. They're just leading Goat further down this side, waiting for him to silhouette over. Goat knows what's happening here, but it is making it awkward for them to play out of Potato Hill. But I like the patience on side from Nongshim Red Force. I know there really isn't anyone around right now to cause them too many problems, so they can just play this one out slowly. Next circle coming on through as Alpha 7 is on the move. Ulf still very pleased with that position. Alpha 7 may send over, but it's Dopeness who is fully on the rotate here. You can see from the eastern side, Ulf may have visitors.
The south side needs to conclude as well. Dopeness getting straight into the middle here. I don't think this is a safe place to be right now, but somehow they're sneaking through the sight lines and nobody's taking shots. How on earth did Dopeness manage to do that? And where are they going? Are they trying to third-party this fight with Nongshim Red Force and Goat Team? How on earth do they rock up to this fight? And what is going to happen here? Nongshim Red Force caught unawares, and rightly so, because this is absolutely mental. Lufa goes down, and Nongshim Red Force trying to hold face, but they just appeared out of nowhere.
I understand it. I understand it. We'll go over it later. Wolves immediately rock up to the plate as well, understanding that there is blood in the water. This is a position where they can get some more points off the board, but Dopeness is down. Wolves able to third party onto this one. Furia quickly moving across as well, trying to bolster the position on that western side. They have a peek in. They realize that, goodness me, this has all gone wrong. It's topsy-turvy on the other side of the map right now. But for Dopeness, it's not the most insane play in the world. I mean, what they do is they just try and rotate across. They have no information, okay? I'll be honest, they have no information, and they just try and make something work on the other side of the back of some kind of rotate. It's a massive gamble from them, which obviously doesn't pay off. I just haven't seen it be done as outrageously as that before.
I mean, with Alula, Ulf, Alpha 7, all in a position to look to take shots at them. The fact that they got through with big HP bars as well, Blank, is insane to me. And for Nongshim Red Force to go down there, I feel sorry for them. Because
it was an outrageous play, right?
Yeah.
I know why they did it. It doesn't make it any less outrageous.
The Wolves are now on 8 elims, though, for it. Geekay trying to survive against Yangon Galacticos, who are starting to falter in the face of the damage pouring out. Geekay have been tenacious today, Blank. I think that they are potentially onto a win on this fight as well if they can get rid of SayCloud. Try and burn this one down. Alpha 7 flex back out to the north. There's the nade to put it to bed. Alpha 7 back out to the north, and they're facing off against the route out of apartments for Tiamba.
Tiamba able to clear out over towards AGL earlier. Doing a really good job, honestly. Very, very pleased to see it. Pretty sure they figured out that Tiamba only had 2 players. Tiamba figured out AGL only had the 2 players there, and were just quick to send over. I think they found Liu first, and then Flower H came shortly afterwards. It's a difficult game there for Alpha 7 as well, because it was an insane shot as well. I'm sorry we didn't see it, but it came through from Flower H inside of apartments as Revo was rotating. Like, I actually genuinely feel bad for Revo. I'd be upset if I got hit by that one. But they're just going to play it slow from the eastern side. They know at this point they have done quite a good job today. They just want to keep the point scoring up. They know they're not in the best position to get a chicken dinner on this game, so they're looking for high placements. Alula continue to take damage here, and Ulf's position becomes more and more secure. This circle, on the other hand, fairly disgusting.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty. That slope down towards school and apartments, a major feature on that north side. Ulf potentially pretty happy, but they're going to have to face the brunt of Furia, Wolves, and probably Alpha 7 here on the eastern side. They're just going to have to hope that these teams face off against each other first and try and take the fight on that front. The Wolves losing one is good news, but in their stead, Geekay step up as they rotate on the Rap South.
Geekay started out strong yesterday, still maintained a fairly decent point scoring. And another team that absolutely has it in them to make it work. Likely will, after this game, leapfrog over the top of AGAL. And Wolves have a potential to leapfrog even further.
Some big teams in the top 6 going down early. Goat and AGAL. Goat on 66, probably okay to stay in the top 6 after this one, Blank, but Real nasty stuff on the south side. The arena rolling out fast though from school. They're trying to descend on Geeke, but it's not going well. They don't have much more left in the tank. Here is another one of them falls, and the arena are cut down to size. They will fall in their entirety, and Geeke once again prove their mettle.
To be fair, Arena sort of just watched that happen to them, though. I think there's a massive amount of clapback coming on. Ulf finding shots over towards the south side. Aaron picking up some good shots there. Tiamba once again hits a shot over towards Alpha 7, leaving one low, and Carrillo QZZ will finish that off. So right now, fortunately for Alpha 7, they have been sort of decimated by the Chinese squads in tandem. But it is a hard rotate for them out from that eastern side. Tiamba still looking to grab the remnants of players coming out from apartments. They control this area beautifully, perfectly. And for Tiamba, this likely will be the game that just secures their top 6 going forward.
Again, it's Ulf. They are being quiet. I said I wanted to see a little bit more flex out come through from these guys. They are holding their position. They're holding it well. And maybe given the shape of the circle, they did need to stay in, but they are now only on 2 eliminations, and they are starting to be dragged away by the rest of the rosters here. Wolves, Ulf, trying to trade off against the fights towards Furia, and that's where they start to gain momentum. Okay, 3 elims, another knock-on side as well. Tiamba starting to step forwards. Let's get you up towards those double-digit elims, Ulf.
Awkward result here, though, for Ulf at the moment. They are struggling to step up, to take the shots over towards Tiamba, because Ayala keeps taking some fantastic shots from upside the hill. But honestly, Ulf's doing a good job at maintaining control here. RQ moving in. A-King looking to get his boy back up again within the safety of the building. Pulls the pin, the grenade might have been good there, but puts the pin back in again. And then hits the sound cue. Aaron goes down towards a Molotov. That's bad news for Ulf.
And you can't be banking an aid like that. That's not going to go in through the window. I feel like there's some panic setting in here for Enkin. Yeah, I don't see him making it out of this one. In the meantime, over in the zone, Furia and Tiamba now forced to fight off against one another. A knock over towards Chief, but it's traded onto Milu. And a nade does manage to shut down the final player from RRQ in the meantime. Tiamba do not have the pressure to move forwards. They were stuck in that engagement, but Milu potential to get back up here, depending on how fast Tiamba move. Ulf starting to step over the ridgeline as Geeke take that tumble on the western side, down to 1.
Geeke attempting to make that move. We've got pretty much blown away by the likes of Ulf, and Wolves continue to step forward. Wolves who've had such a rough time of it this tournament, starting to step up tall here. And again, most of the times we've seen that happen, there has been much more team play at work at the moment. Yeah, they are a little bit slow at times, but at least they're getting the aggression in. And when they go for these third parties, they go for it together. That's what's been so nice to see. That disconnect between the players isn't there as much. Feels like they're not getting in their heads as much. This is really good stuff. Tiamba finally shut down here, but hit the 19-point mark, and they should be safe going forward.
A top 6 fairly guaranteed for them. Last person alive for Furia. Ayala crawling his way forwards with the cover of the crate. Has to step forward, step up, and manages to dart to cover, but he's not safe yet. Still has a further distance to go. A nade over the top. Looking to launch it towards Ulf. Do they spot it? Do they dodge it? Looks good. It splits the difference. Doesn't quite do enough damage to really worry Ulf at all. And Ayala's position definitely known now. 1 nade on site for Solus. And Ulf are starting to feel the pressure of the blue zone.
Yeah, good split from Wolves as well. With the fights they took, they were fairly certain that both the north and the southern edge on the western side are free. So they're ensuring both the high ground and the low ground aren't getting pushed on right now. They just want to squeeze the life out of these teams on the eastern side. Ulf wants to clean up as fast as they can. Alula is a problem in the future. Ayala is a problem right now.
There's a Molotov, and a second one to follow it up. Ayala being corralled. Alula wants to step in and try and take some shots out this way. Catches up to the ridgeline. They should be able to spot him now. They know where that one came from.
Shots.
Follow the flames back to their source, and Ketch shuts it out. Now, can Ulf convert? Because the zone moves completely away from them, and Alula are under threat from Wolves as well.
Ulf, in terms of weaponry, in terms of utility, it all looks pretty bad right now. Very, very shoddy. Some nades still available. Scarface opens up onto R3B. Now's the time to do this. Wolves haven't quite started to move out just yet. They'll see that not going through. They need to finish this fight very quickly. The rest of the Wolves start to move in. That looks good. Alula goes down. No knocks on the side of Wolf just yet, and they haven't regrouped. Scarface has one grenade. It has to be huge. Over towards Batten. Looks on target. Doesn't hit though.
Doesn't quite get around the trunk of the tree, but Ulf step into the zone. Catches flexing back out. Looking to get some information, get some scouting done. And with the crates underneath Alula, they may be able to get a little bit of resupply going, but look at the state of the armor on side for Ulf. It is not looking pretty. A 3 versus 4. And we said we wanted to see a chicken dinner come through from this squad. A nice Elim chicken dinner. If they could take all 4 down, it would be a 12 Elim chicken dinner, giving them 22 points on the match. It would be the game that they were looking for, but they may have already found it, even with this second place, to put them back in the running.
It is curious right now, though, because with the players down the south side, they've practically smoked themselves entirely off. I'm imagining they're smoking the vehicles, but they have limited vision over towards Ulf for the moment. Baton and Elementrix will get pushed out by the blue in a little bit. Right now, Ulf is just playing off the back of the shacks, but they've still got vehicles to work with. Can launch them over towards a little bit of hard cover here, if needs be. But you are giving 3v2s right now.
Potential to isolate those sightlines. But the smokes are starting to run thin. And the nades on side for Wolves are terrifying. With 11 eliminations already. They want to go up to 14. Ulf trying to scavenge whatever they can. Picking the meat off the bones of those crates.
Oh. Cheeky spot, actually. Very cheeky spot to work with. Nate goes forward. Has to be good here. This has to be the opener.
Oh!
And there it is. Sent long and wide. There's a shot underneath. The 3 versus 2s are coming through. That's an angle taking off. He has to go for the reds now. Ulf knows that they need to get these first aid kits going through and over towards Elementrix ASAP. They know the smoke is in play. The peak probably won't come through here. Solus keeps them backed off. Make sure that they have to keep focus on that res underneath. Elementrix takes a lot of damage, and Ulf is making it work. Wolves, I just think the regroup has to come through sooner. Solus is literally taking the soul out of Wolves right now.
And there they go! Down go the Wolves, and Ulf claimed the chicken dinner. The 2-2 split exploited. A big nade, the bottom of the barrel scraped bare, and Ulf dig deep.
But you can see it's not elation on their faces. They know today this is just the first step of many if they want to get towards the top 6 right now. But it's a good game. It's a strong game. They play it out well with limited resources. With singular grenades, they pull out what felt very difficult towards the end of that game. And for Wolves, it's just sort of a confusing approach. I understood at the start, but as soon as you have information, all the players are on the top side. They have this slight plateau. Why are we smoking ourselves up on the south side? Why are we denying sightlines? Why are we essentially playing as 2 separate 2-man teams? Very odd. Very, very odd.
I mean, getting into nade range was the mistake in the end that cost them dearly. And they just did not have the crossfires established for themselves. The Wolves felt good for so much of that game.
They really did.
And then they just stopped playing as soon as Circle 8 hit.
And there was plenty of time. There was actually plenty of time. If you watch this back, there's plenty of time for the Wolves to set up closer towards the center zone. And if you take that 2-man, they could have at least grabbed over towards some trees, set themselves up so they weren't open to the angles. A strange game from Wolves. Strange game. I will say that Ulf definitely had a slight advantage there because they still had the shack in play and had a fairly fearsome position to continue to reset off the back of. But yeah, definitely curious. I think there was a lot more time in that game for Wolves to make further decisions, make further pushes. As Alula goes down, I think you have to be scrambling the third party. That was your big chance there. And still a bit mad props to Ulf. They knew they had to finish out that fight with Alula instantaneously if they wanted a chance versus Wolf in the future.
I mean, getting that knock with the nade around the tree was so big for them at the start.
Absolute banger.
But the conversion on a knock downhill was what clinched it for them. Because that kept those sightlines tight in. There was no chance for the Wolves to step up.
You take all the guns away from them at that point.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was an incredible shot, and I think that honestly, if you are on the south side there, you have to play super passive, basically tiny peeks over the top, spraying over towards them, but not playing with your life. That's the problem they ran into. As soon as they could get Batten back up again, because he had time to walk over towards crawl over towards the tree to get rezzed again. But you're right, as soon as all the guns were laid bare, it was just a very easy game from Wolf there on forwards.
Yeah, being forced out by that final zone as well. The stage 9 zone has been closing quite a lot here. I feel like teams are really dragging it down to the wire, but we still have 3 more matches to play. We finished the first half of today. 1 more Erangel is up on the cards. Don't go anywhere.
We book Esports World Cup up.
So we've stopped over to the STC Arena. I've grabbed Ginny because it's time for an update on all things Week 6. Tell me what you got going on.
Yes, so we have a lot of action happening this week on the STC Arena. Starting today is day 1. Very important to highlight here. 3 French teams competing. We have Vitality, as well as KC and Gentlemates. Now, every single one of these organizations fields very strong rosters in the title.
Okay.
From MENA side of things, however, we're also looking at Twisted Minds and Falcons, of course. A lot of heartbreak for Twisted Minds over the last couple of weeks.
Sure.
But hopefully, they can do it this time around. Falcons got another strong roster. But what is the kicker here is KC and Gentlemates.
Okay.
Because as much as their rosters are very strong, they need 1 more top 8 finish to even qualify for the Club Championship points.
Okay, so potential big moments for those 2 squads, but also some of our leaderboard leaders potentially getting some more points. Of course, we're going to have to see how all of it plays out. And when we have some more answers, we'll check back in with Ginny.
Our players are taking on a brand new challenge, Drop Hunt. Each team will be split into 2 pairs, with each pair receiving their own map. 5 locations are marked on the map and hidden in the player lounge area. At each location is a mystery envelope. The mission is simple: find them, grab them, and bring them back. But there's a catch. There are only 5 envelopes, and each one is worth 20 points. The team that collects the most envelopes wins Drop Hunt. Ready, set, hunt.
Mana kita? Iya, Sok. Mana ya? Ini, Bang. Sini, Bang. Kita stiker di sini, Bujang. Kita di sini aja. Coba tengok mapnya lagi. Mereka ini. Mana tengok di daerah sini? Kayak mana cara dapat amplopnya, anjing? Tengok tahu cara. Berangkatnya mereka. Mana si amplopnya? Pernah diambil harusnya. Lihat mana? Di sini. Viewing di situ, viewing. Viewing ini nggak sih? Mau kita orang aja gitu. Iya, serangin aja mereka, ayo. Woi, Rai. Pet. Sini, Pet. Mau mati juga kan jangan. Ini, Pet. Ambil, Pet. Lari, Pet. Jam. Oh, yang ini.
mana dia? Ini mah. Oh, turun dia. Ambil. Gini. We have 3, they have 2. We lost.
Ya.
Nangis dulu jangan nangis yang.
Let's go.
We've been wondering all this time where this team has been, and they finally end up showing up as Ulf is able to get the win. But for everybody currently watching, yeah, we're not back at the same place. We're actually at the fan experience, so make sure you come and check it out. You can check out the awesome collabs that we currently have with Naruto and PUBG Mobile. And most importantly, make sure you check out the Brain Rot Royale, which is available in World of Wonder. It looks pretty cool, honestly. I'm currently looking at it. Once you guys come to the screen, you'll be able to see exactly what we're talking about. So that's Max is currently posting with Mr. Unknown. But Max, Ulf ends up showing up in that performance.
I gave up hope, to be honest. Before this game, we were like, Ulf is just not looking like the Ulf we saw earlier this year, and even at the end of last year with the second place at PMGC. But man, oh man, what a great push out, able to clear out all of Al-Ula, and then winning out versus Wolves, which I didn't expect them to win that fight, really. I mean, me and Kalaris were talking about that game, and Wolves had a great setup, but clearly Scarface in particular stood out massively.
I'm mad.
He's mad.
Tell us why you're mad. By the way, thanks for joining us.
Hi over there. Yeah.
Hi.
No, I watched that fight go down, right? And I think the Wolves should have been able to have that. I was theorizing a 3-1 split, 3 on the kind of south side in order to be able to kind of put on more pressure. But they gave them so many 1v1s and even 1v2s, which Ulf was able to capitalize on so greatly. I don't know what to say. I'm choking up.
He's choking up right now. Oh.
It's because Ulf finally showed up. That's why he's choking up.
He's so happy.
He is, but I tell you what, the one thing I'm really happy with Ulf about off the back of that win against Wolves is they waited until the zone was actually pushing in, right? Stage 9 before making their move. They isolated a player of Wolves. They got that knock. They realized that was the weak position and then went up over the top. Because of the zone that was coming in, the guys down at the bottom of the hill couldn't really retaliate, so they were immediately put on that defense position. So Ulf actually timed that very well, but I totally agree with you, Kalaris. Wolves should have had that in the bag 110%, and they just didn't.
I gotta give some props for Wolves, though, because this match was very important for this squad, and I actually want to rewind it a little bit more because the 3-1 split that they were doing earlier on, they were taking a fight with a different team, which was none other than Noncham Red Force. They kept one player behind, and he was keeping track of what was going on with GOAT. Once they finished off the fight with Noncham, they went back and finished off GOAT in such a good just synergy from the squad.
I don't know how to feel because Ulf, I'm happy to see them do well, but Nongshim Red Force get eliminated, so I'm a little bit, torn between this game. But no, really good stuff from Wolves in particular. And what I like to see is when it was shifting around school and apartment area, it kept going to the western side, and Wolves actually see, okay, got 4 teams to the east, let's wide wrap to the west, eliminate Geekay, and let the fight come to us at the very end, which by doing so, they secure bare minimum a second place. So yeah, Wolves, good IGLing on their side.
It is good IGLing, but as you guys were saying, just that 2-2 split at the end, honestly, it was a bit too much for them. Neptura, from this last match, I mean, we are going to be heading into the final 3 matches. Any team that you're in particular just going to be keeping a close eye on?
I got to see more from Nongshim Red Force. I know we keep saying it again and again and again, but they came in looking like the favorites for the entire thing to actually win PMWC this time around, and they just are falling so short, so short. I need to see more from them in the last 3 games. We need to see them go to finals. We need them to have another chance.
We need them to wake up.
Yeah.
That's what we need them to do. Galaris, we need them to see them being able to start those Neptura, quit hogging the mic. We need to see them getting those eliminations.
I think I'm concerned for a lot of the teams, not just them as well, because I think the gravitas of the situation is getting to people. I think people are playing more passive than they have before, to the point where it's actually going to cost them points down the road. You're getting less eliminations. You're playing for a position, but then the circle shifts away from you, and you're not flexing out from that spot until it's too late. So I'm seeing, there's $3 million on the line, Seven.
Yep.
It is going to weigh on these players, especially when they're on the verge of elimination.
It is, and that's the crazy thing, right? When we're heading into this final 3 matches, the pressure is going to be on, but it's also going to be a bit of freedom for some of these squads, because if you're outside of the top 6, you got absolutely nothing to lose. There's no second chance after this. There's not another survival day. No, this is it. You have to make sure you end up in the top 6.
Yeah, it's going to be do or die for some of these teams very clearly. Now, you just got 3 more games right now around the corner, so we'll see if they can try and make it work out. But if you're at the very bottom, such as, for example, KRX, I think it's done. They just don't have that drive right now to try and make a mad dash at the top 6. I think for KRX in particular, they're the first team on my mind, Kalaris. They're just out of the race entirely.
It's especially interesting because when I interviewed them, they said, yes, they got the better end of the roster shuffle, the WrestleMania, that happened at the beginning of the year. However, it doesn't currently look like that's the case in a very high-octane situation.
They have been non-existent, to be completely honest, with that squad. And we even saw it on social media too, using the hashtag EWC and hashtag EWC26, where the coach took full blame of what was happening with the team yesterday. Today, I mean, is it going to be the coach again, or is it going to be the players? Because ultimately, the players are the ones making that decision within the game. Max, I know you wanted to see something that happened in that last match, especially one that we were kind of laughing at, and it had to do with just Alula in a bunch of smokes.
It was me and Kalash who were just going, what the hell is happening over there? And you're looking at the replay from Alula when they decide to actually crash onto a plateau right next to Ulfin. Like, that's a great position. You can see it right now on your screens. And he's like, okay, that's a good send. IGL will say, guys, just put down a couple of smokes, maybe, bare minimum, just to deny the vision of Ulf. But Kalaris, they went way overboard.
I've told you many, many a time, having utility into the extreme late game will pay huge dividends. Having no smokes towards the end where Ulf actually did throw those nades over, there's no way you're going to be able to negate them. The lines of sight and things like that, it's just too many. You're not really negating too many lines of sight other than maybe some lines of sight from like the top of apartments or something like that. Yeah. This is too much.
You just deny your own vision too. It's too many.
How many is it actually?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Hey, that's a great number right there.
Yay.
But I want to actually take a look at the overall because I want to see what the picture's currently looking like. We have seen so many shifts within that top 6, especially going into the next 3 matches, the final matches in Natura. Those squads that are currently in contention for that top 6, that are currently outside, need to make sure that they play flawlessly.
I mean, we know it's what, 2, 3, 5 points difference between so many of these teams. The gap is non-existent, and when you're looking at only 3 matches left, 1 more Erangel, even if you want to make it even more pressurized, right? We've only got 1 more Erangel before we go into Miramar. That Miramars are notorious for being super difficult, and if you're looking at the overalls here, what do we have? Wolves